It's time for New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Join your host, the accomplished Dr. Cherilyn Lee, as she welcomes the leading experts in health and well-being as they explore the advancements in natural health, physical fitness, nutrition, integrative medicine, and self-discovery.
Or you may be watching the evening. Thank you for tuning in to another fabulous show. I love our title, and our title actually came from one of my guests. And the title is just absolutely phenomenal. We rise by lifting others. Isn't that beautiful? And we do. We have to remember we can prosper and do so much better when we really help lift others. And when we put people down, sometimes people wonder, why is my life the way it is? You kind of watch your own journey and the words you're using and your thoughts that are so powerful. So we rise by lifting others. So I have two fabulous people here in the audience with me, which I am just so thrilled. And because I just met one of the wonderful ladies just last Wednesday, the day of my birthday, the 21st of February, which was wonderful. So I met Peggy, and thank you so much, Peggy, for being here.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm really grateful that I got to meet you, and I just can't believe the love that I feel like we've lived another life with each other, and I'm so grateful meeting you at the meeting that we had.
For a NAFI. So we met through our dear friend Robbie at the NAFI, and they had a surprise birthday party that was so wonderful. And I was so happy because my granddaughter was with me, Isis Beck. It was wonderful to have her there too. So we have a wonderful, I'm just meeting your associate. And so I think it would be appropriate if you would. I just met her last night, and I just knew we have this warm feeling, and she's wonderful. Do you mind introducing your associate?
Yes, Karen Patmas, she's the owner of the National Talent LA and also the owner of Bellevue Magazine, which means Beautiful Life. And I'm going to let her tell the story how this came about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Karen.
Hi. Well, thank you for having us on the show. Really appreciate being here and the opportunity. And basically how it came about, I started out in the industry as a model and actress, went into healthcare, and worked as a clinical specialized therapist, so in the helping field for many years.
Wonderful.
And then I jumped back into the industry. I loved it. I'm very passionate about it. I actually wanted to come into it as a role to help others and inspire. So that's where owning an agency and kind of leading and guiding. And what pushed that even more was that kind of a love, tragedy, and power situation, but everything pushes us to something different in our
life. It does. And do we have a cover of your magazine? Did you bring one with you?
I did. Do you want me to get it out?
No, my wonderful producer here,
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis, he can find it. So just give him the title, and he will let everybody see it.
It would be on the website?
Yeah, he'll find it.
Okay, and then go to publications.
Yeah, in the new publications. And I just want to say that there's so many publications on the market, so I love yours because the title of our show is We Rise by Lifting Others, and that's almost what your magazine is about too.
It is.
It really is. And the more I thought about our title for today, the more I thought about your magazine, which I am so proud of you to launch such a magazine. And we do things for different reasons. And let's just say, why did you go into healthcare?
I went into healthcare because I've always had that helping nature. I went to therapy specifically because I love the idea of guiding people and helping them help themselves and what they want to accomplish. So it's, I guess, from lifting others has been from the start for me. So that's always been kind of a theme that's in me.
Okay. So I want to say, and as we go through this journey, I'm talking on the show, I really like I like case studies. Doesn't have, definitely, it's a case study. Because of HIPAA, we do change the name, and that's kind of the situation. But a lot of times people fit into case studies. And I have shared a lot of case studies about things, and people can see that you don't have to go through this alone. There is, maybe you being your specialty, people can see that I can overcome this. I can work through this. And plus, number one, I'm not the only one. Because after even going through a situation myself, I said, gee, I thought I was the only one that had this situation. And after I shared it with people, come to find out, nope, you're not the only one. But we learn how to overcome, and we rise by helping and supporting others. And that's what's helped me through my journey. And now with meeting the two of you, I am just so thrilled that we're going to rise even more so with working with each other. So I'm just really thrilled about the things that we are going to be doing. So this is just the first time here on the show. We're going to be coming back to talk about it. So Peggy, tell people a little bit about you right now.
Well, I came from Canada back in 1983, November 27th at 7:20 p.m. And I was invited to
You remember the exact time.
Yes, I do,
Great.
because
Okay.
it was definitely a life changer. I was invited to the Playboy Mansion. My girlfriend was going out with Hugh Hefner at the time, and I came for a 2-week visit, and I haven't left since. So I lived at the Playboy Mansion for a year, and the first 5 months of being here, I went on an interview for acting, and I got my first role with John Landis on Into the Night. And then after that, I went to Weird Science and played Billy Paxton's girlfriend. And then after that, I did into Beverly Hills Cop 2 with Eddie Murphy. And then I continued. If you look at my IMDb, you can see all the different colorful TV shows I've been on and films that I've been on. And I've done a lot of modeling and acting. And I just had a real zest for life here. And I wasn't interested in doing the magazine at all. And for so many years, many years, they wanted me to do the magazine as a centerfold.
Now, when we say magazine, I want people to be very clear. It's not the magazine you're working on now. You're talking about
the Playboy magazine.
Exactly.
And I was very much against it because I was very a big part of the church. And then for years after, being around the Playboy Mansion, they kept asking me to do it, and I wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And then I got another film, and my billboard was going to be on Sunset. And the night before, after rehearsing for 6 weeks, they called me up and said I couldn't do the movie. So I was really pretty much a dead man in America because I couldn't work. I was illegal. So for a long time, I babysat, cleaned houses, detailed cars, whatever I had to do to make money to pay my bills. And then I thought, you know what? If I'm going to go after this, I have to go after it, and I have to become legal somehow. And I'm not going to just get married to somebody.
Right.
And because I did,
because that's not legal, just to get married to someone.
No.
That way. Yeah.
No. So I ended up doing the magazine, and I was able to negotiate my own contract and control the pictures. I got to see the pictures after they came out.
Okay.
And I was able to manage not showing that much, but I thought, you know what? God's not going to judge me for this, so nobody else should. So I went ahead and did the magazine and became legal, and the rest is history from there.
My goodness, what a journey.
Yes.
And I know we're only, just a tad bit of that journey.
Yes.
Now, being in the field that you're in, because you're dealing with holistic medicine and
yes.
different things as well, in that field, what actress, and I know some here and there, and people in the entertainment world, what is your diet and nutrition like?
I like to eat pretty clean, and I like to eat organic. I pretty much have been taking meat out of my diet.
Going back then.
Back then.
Yeah, I mean, up to now.
Back then, well, living at the Playboy Mansion at the time, you could eat pretty much anything you want. So I pretty much lived on like lobster and shrimp and fish and salads pretty much, and fruit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yes. I've always been a really
sure
clean
they
eater.
didn't want people to, be overweight, so that was probably an issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they probably kept foods that are around, not, German cakes and
Whoa!
cheesecake.
No. When they
they
had
wonderful foods.
they had big things of cookies and Rice Krispie squares and the double chocolate cookies and every dessert you can imagine up there. It was up to you to decide what you wanted to eat. It was whatever you wanted to eat. Anything the chef was amazing. The food up there was absolutely amazing. Okay. Chef Carter. He's one of the best.
I didn't realize until I saw a documentary on Hugh Hefner what an activist he was.
Yes, very much so.
And I was really surprised. I went to the screening of his movie, and it was just really amazing that he really got a lot of of African Americans started
Yes.
in the business, and it was really great because Dick Gregory is one of my dear friends.
Yes.
The late Dick Gregory, and he really supported him and got him going with a lot of other people as well. So it was really wonderful meeting him.
He actually saved the Hollywood sign. He's the one that put the money up. And a lot of things that Hef did was he did a lot of philanthropy work and didn't advertise about it. He just did things quietly and wanted to help. That was what he was about. And, you know, he was always a gentleman to me. He's never, ever crossed the lines with me. He was good. And as a matter of fact, I did his makeup and hair for about 7 years. I was his personal makeup and hair artist. And I sat throughout all the interviews with him. So knowing his whole life, and I also was one of the people that did tours up there. And I speak fluent Japanese, so I was able to take the Japanese through. And anybody that came into town, I got to show them the grounds and tell them a little bit about the Playboy Mansion. So it was a really good part of my life, a good part.
And, you know, knowing history and having a wonderful psychologist here with us and knowing that a lot of what he did, too, because of love.
Yes.
You know, after seeing the documentary, and that's so important. And you're working in the field, and love is so important. It's so important when I'm interviewing clients. There's a couple of questions I ask them, and it's so important surrounding love with themselves and feeling is so important. Feeling love, and a lot of people are not uplifted by family and not uplifted by other people. So, you know, when you don't feel this, it affects you. It affects your health. So, I'm so happy that we are touching on this subject because it has to do more with the emotional and what you feel and internalize inside. So do you have any like testimonies that you would like to share with us on people as it relates to a case study, you know, and kind of changing it around just to kind of help others that may be going through something similar?
Well, if you'd want, I can share about my son and how that came about with the magazine, and that's actually has to do with family love and support and getting through probably the most traumatic thing you could ever experience. So I guess it's more of a, rather than a case study, it's kind of myself.
Okay. So if you would like to share and kind of look into the audience eyes. So, I mean, because so many people, I have a dear friend who's watching the show today who have gone through something similar. And, yeah. So I know this is going to be very helpful.
Right. So the magazine actually came about because my 24-year-old son died in a car accident in August, just recently. And I wanted to do something. We all grieve in different ways. So I was searching for how do I deal with my grieving.
Yes.
So yes, I'm a trauma specialized therapist for over 15 years, but I've worked with grief, but it's different when it hits you personally.
Most definitely.
So my way, I found I liked to talk about my son because he was such an amazing person. He did exist, you know, even when people pass, they existed in our life. So I think it's important to share about our child. He will always be my child.
Yes.
So the name Bella V actually means beautiful life.
I love that. Beautiful life.
It is. It came about because my son actually lived a beautiful life. No, not a perfect life, but beautiful because he was humble. He helped others without question. And for 24, it was amazing. You knew that if you asked, he was there. If somebody was left out, he was the one to go include them. He had a presence about him when he entered a room that just brought life and lifted everybody up in the room. The magazine is not only dedicated to him, I want to carry on what he was like, which is lifting others.
Yes.
So in this magazine, we want to lift everyone up and be supportive and be positive and tell the story that people want to tell. We created in February, I wrote an article called The Feather. This is about lifting others up, parents losing their children, and what it was like for me. And each month now, we dedicate that section to any parent who wants to write about their child and who they were and share about them. Because, you know, as a mom or a parent or however you really related to that child, They were special.
Yes.
And we love to share about our children. So just because they may have passed from this world, we can still share about them. And I think that helps. So if somebody's ready to share and wants to, and that's helpful, I want to help other mothers out there that have lost their children, along with lifting others up. So it's kind of got a twofold in the magazine, where we're lifting other people's up in the industry because we rise by lifting others. I truly believe that. And I've had a lot of wonderful support in the industry. In combination with that, I do want to help other mothers that have lost their children, because if you're a mom out there that's lost your child, you know what I'm saying. When you come across another mom that's lost a child, there's a special connection that you have.
Oh, most definitely. I'm sure.
And when you read about February issues about Lexi,
Yes.
and hopefully we get to share this with Danielle, her sweet mother. We actually, can I show this ring?
Sure.
Yes.
How do you film it, or do you just put it out
just
there?
probably hold your hand up this
Like
way.
this? Where do you want it, right here?
Mm-hmm.
So my son's birthstone is an emerald. Lexi is a 24-year-old that died in August.
She was my client in Miss California, USA.
Oh, my. Okay.
And I made instant connection with her mom. Wonderful. We support each other now. Lexi's favorite color was emerald. And so this ring has the infinity symbol, a feather, because it's about the winged creatures. Whenever we see feathers, it tells
Okay.
us our loved one's still around. And the emerald is because it was Lexi's favorite color, and then my son's birthstone. So I've had this one specialized made, and we're hoping to maybe reproduce it for other mothers. So we're working on that right now.
Oh,
But
that's
it's
beautiful.
a memory ring.
That's
and it's engraved
beautiful.
inside
I
for
love
me.
that. I
Yeah,
love that.
we it
that
came
long enough?
about talking to, because I know Lexi personally, and I got to know Karen, and I did mention to them, I said, we have to come up with something globally that recognizes this, because it really gives the recognition of the parents that really have lost a child. So
Yes, yes.
we've lost so much compassion in life, and putting our heads together with everything. Karen was able to come together with
about the feather?
the feather and the emerald and the wing, and she's an artist as well. So she was able to put the whole thing together that actually connected the three of us really, really strong through this.
And now
this
that you're connected, how
new
did
discovery.
you meet? How did you two meet?
We met by I know somebody on Facebook that I've never personally met yet. His name's Marsh Sutherland.
Okay.
And he's always calling me, hey, Peggy, my friend is coming out to Los Angeles, and he lives in Spokane. He goes, you need to meet her. You guys would really hit it off. And then as the time went on, Karen and I really started to connect. And then I think shortly after that, that's when her son passed on. And I was like devastated for
Can
her.
I tell this part?
Go
Peggy
ahead.
called me 1 week after. And for any parent that's been out there, you don't really remember the first few weeks at all.
Yeah.
But I do remember, Peggy's
That's
call.
okay. That's okay. We're human.
So 1 week after, she doesn't text or warn you. She just calls. She still does that. I love it. But she just called me, and she just said, I'm there for you. The support and her love was just amazing and
Yes.
genuine. That's why she's on board with me. How we met is sometimes people we connect with in our lives, you meet them, and it's like you've known them for 30, 40 years.
Yes.
Which has been the same with Peggy. We met, and just instantly we finished each other's sentences. So what perfect person
My.
to be the director of my business, because we work at this just perfectly coordinated team. I mean, when I met you also, Cheryl, like there was just this instant feeling of, I feel like I've known you forever. So it's just sweet,
Yeah.
and I think
And that was just
the
last
love.
night.
That's what I feel too.
Less than 24 hours. And
Yeah.
you know what I like? We sat there, and which we didn't do before the show, and we kind of just prayed. We just had a
Yes.
moment of quiet time in prayer. And that is so powerful. And when you have a friend who can send out that type of energy and that kind of message, it's so powerful. And, I wake up in the morning and I ask for guidance for my whole day, and just thanking God for meeting new people. And I want really God to just send the people He want to be in my life, and people He want me to be surrounded by, and positive people, because you could have all the money in the world. If you don't have a good friend, somebody you can call at any time and say, look, I am stuck, I'm stranded, or I just need to vent and get something off my chest, and it's not all over the world. Those things are very important. I can count my friends on one hand and still have fingers left over. So, and I know a lot of people, but to have a true friend is really, really powerful. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
hard to come by.
grateful that I do have a couple in my life that's just always there whenever I need them. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing that you two came together. And I'm grateful and honored that I had a chance to meet you, Peggy, first, and then you, Karen, secondly.
Oh, I'm
last night.
so happy. Like 2018 has been so great, and the most
Yes.
important thing was to really build these wonderful friendships with people that had some miles on them and have some great stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing with the Bellevue magazine, with Karen about lifting others. So we can lift ourselves. Is she has such an amazing heart, and really, really. She dedicates herself, I swear, 12 to 14 hours a day working on this magazine, and we're working on the
Right.
agency. It's like she's the first voice I hear in the morning, because it's either she gets up before me or I get up before her,
Okay.
and it's probably the last voice I hear when I go to bed, because we don't go to bed till 1 or 2.
2 in the
and-
morning. I know I was with
we
you
ha-
guys last night,
Yeah.
so I was up.
And we went till about what time? I went to 1. You
And
went
then
to
we
what,
got back,
2?
and I had to be on the computer sending out contracts. So.
Yeah, so we don't stop. We really, it's really important for us to dedicate ourselves to creating this family of people that have passion, and they're in it for the right reason.
Yes,
And,
yes.
that's why we're doing it.
And I just had to keep repeating the title of the show, We Rise by Lifting.
Yes,
We have to lift each other up,
yes.
and to touch people are going through so much, and there's a lot of people with a lot of loss. I went through my year of a lot of family members in 1 year. It was just kind of overwhelming. It's just to know that you can, there's a platform that you now can, if you want to write about it. Sometimes just getting it out. Not everybody want to write a book about their life story or about the situation, but if they could just kind of write it and just share it with how they feel. And even if they don't even use their name, if they use a different name, I'm sure they can do that, because maybe they might not want to. They just want to just get it out, which would be really powerful. Like I said, I know several people right now who are going through the same thing with a loss of a child. So to just write what you felt, because sometimes family don't understand. Family do not understand exactly the situation, or even sometimes certain friends don't quite understand what's going on in your heart. But to get it out and write it, and then have somebody else who is passionate to maybe make a comment about it, or follow up with that person, that is so powerful. That really is. And you connect, and you're going to connect with a lot of people, I know, because the shows are not a mistake. Because I pray over every show that I have. Even though on the way here I called Jarvis and said, I think I want to cancel. Everything is just running behind time and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da. But sometimes there's a little stumbling blocks put there, because it's going to be so powerful.
Yes.
And because the message has to get out. So I'm just so grateful to have both of you here, and for you to share your story, because that's so powerful. It really is. And I really love what you're doing with the magazine, and I pray to be a major part of it as well. As
we can't wait.
As time
hope
go
you
on,
are.
as time
We
go
are
on.
very much looking forward to having you a part of this magazine for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and and you'll be coming back on the show when that happens, because it's going to be a whole another different level
Oh, yes.
show as well. But I just want to thank you both. It's just been amazing, and we're not finished, but in my heart is so full right now, because lifting, we have to lift others. We do. And I keep repeating that because I don't see it a lot. I have a dear friend I just met. She's going to be coming on the show, and she called me on the way here and was giving me information that, this is what you can do, and this is what you can do for your business. And, I'm not a computer person. And she was just, I want to say her name because she's going to be coming on, Nina Womack. Just wonderful. And I thank her for taking the time to do what she's doing as well, because we're both doing a lot of things. And like I said, I'm not a computer person. There's some things that I have put in place. So as of this week, I'm also going to be a reporter as it relates to health.
Oh, wow.
So I'm setting some things up to just give little tidbits on health and reporting that that's done by the experts. And this is all from medical and nutritional journals, because there's so much happening. Nobody has time to go read all this information, but I want to bring it to the forefront. So I will be going live every Monday.
Oh, wow.
every
Congratulations.
morning as a reporter.
Wow. This is great.
Yeah, and actually in a couple of days.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I have a lot of information because we shouldn't have to suffer.
No.
We should
Right.
not have to suffer, and to really get that information out there on every level for women. And I really tell women and people in general, when you're going through it, please, I send everybody to a website, and the website is Life Extension website. And Life Extension is where you can do lab work. Because when you're going through it, you have to watch your lab. When we're under a lot of stress and had a loss, and when you're a caregiver, your lab and your immune system is going to shift and change. So you can come to me and I can, do the lab, but it's much easier that you go to Life Extension, order your 24-hour cortisol level, order your C-reactive protein inflammation markers, order a CBC, because your lymphatic system and things will shift through a loss. Things will shift in your immune system. So when you're a caregiver or have a loss, it's so important to know what is going on with you at a cellular level. You have to know. So that nutritionally, and I know you go through periods where you don't want to eat, you don't want to be bothered with people sometime, but when you have a supportive person there, those things can shift. But it's so important that you know what certain markers are. I would say do the whole panel. Your hemoglobin A1C, your insulin levels, those are some very things. And sometimes you need to know your thyroid function, which in terms, it could be normal. That's why you would send your lab to myself, who deals with functional lab testing, and not just look at it from the pathology report, but more on a cellular functional level. So see if you're in the right range, because the range that they give us, reference range medically, is not your functional level. So, and this is what we do in New Wellness Healthcare with my wonderful team, my daughter, who is a nutritionist, board certified nutritionist, have her master's, matter of fact,
Wow.
in nutrition, and she's very thorough. So we make sure that everything is done. You have all the information that you need, Siobhan, my wonderful daughter. So I'm so proud of her. But the lab is so important, especially if you're a caregiver or if you had a loss, because it's enough things hitting us in our environment that we can't control. It's going to weaken our immune system anyway. So we want to know what I want to know. You should want to know what is going on with your immune system. If you have any questions about any other lab tests that you should order, it should be, just call me at New Wellness Healthcare, and the number is listed there. But I want to say that we have to keep ourselves healthy and strong as we go through these journeys. I know, because the first place it normally will hit you is your heart. So I tell everybody when they're going through hardship, make sure you test your coenzyme Q10 blood levels if you want, but start taking your coenzyme Q10, because that is so important to protect your heart. We notice how a lot of people who have loved ones, like a significant other, and who have passed away, and then the other significant other passed right away. Well, the immune system starts to shut down. What area is going to be hit the hardest, especially if there's a lot of love there, is the heart, and they have a heart attack. So do you have a heart attack, or your heart attacks you? So it's really important that those things are really taken into consideration and protect your heart. You might even want to get an EKG during that time too, just to make sure
That's some good
that your
advice.
heart,
That's great advice.
yeah, it's really, okay, because you'd be surprised how things start to wear it down until by the time you have symptoms, it's too late. But then we have things listed on what is called a silent killer, where you have no symptoms at all. It's just people just are not here with us anymore from, all the stress and the wear and tear. So we must watch, and, every 6 months, depending on how much stress you're under, I think you need to update your lab and just see where you are. See where you are. And like I said, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to call me at New Wellness Healthcare. Dr. Lee, and everybody know my Ph.D. is in holistic medicine. I'm a family nurse practitioner along with a Ph.D. And a physician assistant from Charles Drew. But and I'm a graduate from there, but it's so important to know. So I've worked almost in every industry. That's why I say that, especially when I worked in the emergency room. And people came in there, and the ones who had heart attacks, I would ask them, the ones who really survived theirs, what was going on, what was happening in your life. A thorough history is so important. And they would all have something that they were going through with family or friends or jobs or, it's so important to know what's going on. Protect your heart. Coenzyme Q10 is good, but do the blood test and see where you are. Because you could do a blood test on coenzyme Q10 and see where you are in your own body. So I just wanted to get that out because I just felt it was a need right now for everybody to do that. You can order the lab test yourself or have your doctor order it if you want to talk to your doctor about ordering the tests. But just know we have to learn to manage our own care. There's so many things shifting in healthcare right now. So many shifts that if you don't learn to manage your own, that a lot of things are not going to be ordered. A lot of tests doctors don't order because of there's something called standard of care, so they're not going to order it. And make sure you know your vitamin D3 level. I always stress that because of cancer, because of women with breast cancer, and because of women who have strokes. There's research has been done to show when your levels of 60 and over, you don't have the propensity to maybe have a stroke or a heart attack. So it's so important to make sure those things are in place. So back to my wonderful guests after I went through this spiel, because I feel somebody's listening who need to do this right away. And if you call Life Extension, just tell them you heard about it on New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Let them know you heard it here. And I want to thank you for that little commercial, Phil. So Peggy.
I can't wait to get this done.
Yeah.
I heard, what's this machine you were talking about that you have that tells you some stuff too?
Yeah, well, I have two, and I'm really excited about. One is the voice, dealing with your voice. So it allows me, you count to 100, and it's a algorithm of your voice. And, it's a sound that's picked up. So I'm not going to get into, we're going to have a show on that. We've had a show on it before, but I'm going to bring a scientist on who actually developed some things as it relates to this as well. But it's amazing. So it shows me emotional, physical, and
that's pretty amazing.
And I think it really goes deep into the cycle, what we suppress in our subconscious. So what you suppress sometimes, it's like, oh, gee, because I've done this. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that's me. And come to find out, when I really sat down and thought about it, I said, oh, I guess that is me. I didn't really think about it. Because sometimes you have to ask a third party who know you, because I've had like two friends in the office or family, and when I did the reading of the report, because I have the report back in 12 minutes, so it's really quick to have your report. And she said, oh, no, that's not me. That's not me. And her best friend said, oh, dear, that is you. That is your personality, and this is you. And no, you won't let people help you. No, you don't accept this. No. And she said, oh, I didn't know that. So certain things we need to change. Certain things we kind of need to change, and we can see ourselves a little bit better, by taking off those blindfolds and really be honest, be authentic, and just say, okay, I'm not going to just say, no, this is not me, and like some people have done with me before, and then they found out later that's what's going on. Just look at it and take it in and say, okay, let me think about it. Yeah. And find out what changes you can make. The other machine, and you know me, I people who know me, I know I love diagnostic equipment. Some is on the heading of diagnostic, and the other, what I really like, is my CRT machine. And the CRT is where we do testing for breast cancer.
It's biofeedback.
No, this one here is testing for breast cancer.
Oh.
There's 119 acupuncture points that I go through from the top of the head to the pelvic, and then do an examination with a probe that's infrared. So instead of doing the camera infrared, it gives me a graphic report. So it's really amazing. I test men, women, and children. And the reason why is because children are developing what's called inflammatory breast cancer.
Oh.
Inflammatory breast cancer. And they are having breast cancer and dying as teenagers.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's
inflammatory.
All the food intake.
So you're not going to find it under a mammogram, which I end up diagnosing some in my own family. And they're still with us because we found it early. You're not going to find it with an ultrasound. but with
Wow.
infrared, you will find it. So my spokesperson for that is Doris Mosley, who is about to have a hair show coming up here real soon. Spectrum International Beauty Expo that's coming up. And there, I just want to slide into that quickly. I will be doing what is called Beauty Shop Stroke Screening. And I labeled that Beauty Shop Stroke Screening is because I had this dream, and then more or less I felt like I was pushed out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning to start this whole process under my nonprofit for Beauty Shop Stroke Screening. I'm like, why that? So I went and Googled Beauty Shop Stroke Screening and found out that Dr. Oz and Dr. Gupta had did a show on women in breast cancer, women in stroke, for a 2-week series, and how all these women were dying from heart disease and stroke in their 20s. Since then, I've had calls from people who have had them in their 20s. ABC, I think it was, one of the channels here recently did a story on women having heart attacks under the age of 40. So in their 20s. So, and I said, gee, I see why several years ago that God had me to start this. So I provide the carotid artery screening, and also we will test, if need be, the vertebral artery, which is in the back of the neck. And the reason why it's called Beauty Shop or Beauty Parlor Stroke Screening is because once you go and to the salon and you get in a bowl to have your hair washed or rinsed or whatever, conditioned, if you have plaque in the carotid artery on the side of the neck or in the back, and it's hard plaque, it could break in the bowl, going back and forth as they're turning your hair to rinse it. And after I went and did all that research, I said, okay, I'm going to start screening women for free, because it's a test that you're not going to routinely have done at your doctor's office. So I am just happy and thrilled that we can offer this test for free at different events. I'm now with another organization some days, and I will be doing this in Santa Monica as well, some of the screening there as well. But if you want it done, you can always call me and we can see how. But I normally do it for free when we're doing events, and it's done for free under the nonprofit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's just amazing what we have picked up. And right after I started this, there was a lady, it's on Facebook, and she actually tried to sue a salon because she had a stroke after having her hair done. And I said, oh my goodness. And I had already put that out there. So it was already out there. So I don't, personally see how you could sue a salon if you have this going on, but it's so important that you know if you have plaque. Now, the one thing with the other machine, which is a pulse wave, it deal with the pulse, it's a cardiovascular kind of workup. You put your finger inside of the pulse little gadget, and that will kind of do a scan. And that machine has been FDA registered and approved as well. But it will let me know where plaque is. It don't tell me where plaque is. It will tell me you have plaque in the arteries, but I don't know where it is. But it doesn't matter, because it's a grading system there from type 1 all the way to 5 and 6. So if you pass 1 and 2, and 2 is kind of the beginning of plaque, anything after 2 is that you have a lot of plaque. So you need a really good cardiovascular workup after, if it's there. You really do, to find out if you do have the plaque. So from there, we can, turn some things around. And then it picks up stress. Then it lets me know about your autonomic nervous system, whether or not you're stressed out under the autonomic nervous system. So we look at that, your parasympathetic, sympathetic, which is under the autonomic nervous system, which is really important, because some people are just leaving off their adrenals. And then you got to look at everything. So you don't just look at the adrenals, look at the thyroid, the pituitary.
Wow,
we got to look at
amazing.
Everything there. So, and that only takes 3 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
It's 3 minutes. So I'm so happy
And
that
a lot of people don't know about this.
No. I'm so happy that we have the machine that can do the testing. It's a lot to it, and you can find out too if there's a hormonal imbalance. So we test out these hormones.
What time can I be there today?
As soon as we leave here.
Oh my God, I'm dying to know.
Yeah, it doesn't take but a few minutes to do the test, and it's just, this is valuable information that you can help start right now. So if you're under a lot of stress, it's going to show up. we could put on a really
looked at
nice,
me.
good face.
Karen, what do you think? We need to get in there. Like, slow down.
Yes, yes. So if that cortisol level is high,
Oh,
yeah,
no doubt.
yeah. But
We
it's
we're,
stress.
I think we go so fast and so hard. You and I, we really do need to take care of our health because if they don't have us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, what type of patients do you work with?
The kind of people I do energy work with people,
Okay.
and about it's cranial sacral energy work, and I would go into Ayurvedic as well. So it would be Panchakarma or Shirodharas. I've learned from some of the best, and I've also done. I became a certified holistic healer, doing some energy work. So I've actually been born with an energy that I'm able to work with people. That I was born from a very young age with my hands and with the energy. I know God gave me that gift.
Yes.
So it's something that I've just always done. I will never ever stop doing it. As a matter of fact, I'm waiting for Karen to get on the table because she's staying with me right now. But I do want to give her some work to just shift because I know she's holding a lot of tension from losing her son, and she's a people pleaser, so she just keeps on going. And I want to work on you too. I want to do some energy work
I
on
need
you.
it after the traffic in LA
And I actually enjoy it. I enjoy working on people, and I do have very, very selective people that I work with. But with this, working with the Bellevue magazine and the
how
agency, that's the priority right now, more than anything.
And people have so many names because I was doing some things and people were calling me and said, "Oh, you're a medical intuitive," and I'm like, "There's so many names for things now."
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was just laying on hands. We would just lay our hands on people.
Yeah.
Because you grew up in the church as well.
Yes.
And people were healed. It was not all this other stuff that they have titles for.
Did you know Catherine Coleman?
No.
Oh, Catherine Coleman, faith healer. Oh, I met her when I was 13.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of miracles.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen them too because and they didn't have all these wonderful names. And these people were not, certified in anything, but they were, there was a gift. And a lot of people have it. It's medical intuitive. It's hands-on healing, or like I said, there's so many titles and things under there. But just knowing, and when you're becoming more conscious with people and get out of your way. Some people are so much in their own way, they don't even have time to even help you because they're so busy in their own way. So just moving out of your way, we rise.
By lifting you.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
And I can't wait to put some of those pages in our magazine. I think it's an important message of what you're getting out and how people, the tests that they need and how to stay healthy and watch all your levels. Because I was therapist within a medical system, so all those levels were very important because the doctors would have us help them on the mental health and support and how to care for themselves and keep their mental health good, because that really is significant on your prognosis, on your healing.
Yeah, and then it's brain food.
And to have a page every month of the magazine
Absolutely.
of how to reach these and where to go would be really important information. So we'll have to talk to you about.
Well,
getting
that was
in
my
there.
prayer that I would have a column.
Yes,
every-
you have it.
every single
Definitely.
issue.
Yeah,
so
a health
people
column.
Definitely.
can just pick it up and know right where to turn to, where to call, what website to go to. I think that would
And we
be
have
great.
links that they can just go right to you.
Yeah.
Nowadays with there's so many divorces and so many single parents out there that it's really not recognized how difficult it is to be a single parent. And I was one myself, and
I was too.
It was not the easiest thing. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are single parents trying to figure out, how do I make ends meet? How do I give the best to my children? And sometimes you just can't do it all, and it's hard. And sometimes the kids suffer because they don't have both parents seeing eye to eye with each other. So the kids' levels are going high, and they're already starting that way, unhealthy. And with the texting that we have, they're not out there taking care of their health. So we do have a lot of medical issues out there with the kids, and I totally understand that. And with what you're doing, oh my God, that should be number one in the schools. This conversation with everything in the health department should be a broadcasted thing for sure, and should be in the gymnasiums to give kids an hour a day at least to talk about the health and the emotional things that they have, because that affects everything.
Yeah.
Look at our school shootings. Look at everything that's going on.
My goodness, yes. We used to have school
we need
nurses.
to address we
and
need to
there
address all
needs
this.
to be people there, but it needs to be a little bit on a different level. A friend of mine, Dr. Edna, forgetting her last name. But
I have
anyway,
an Aunt Edna.
she's a dear friend, and they set up the first clinic at a high school that I'm part of in South Central.
Wonderful.
So yeah, so there is a clinic that's being set up there, and so there we do everything, not like going to the nurse's station for little things. So we they're doing lab work, they're doing this and doing that.
That's amazing.
That's when I found out that the girls, because I brought it up about them coming in to have the CRT test, which is a screening for breast cancer. And when I said that and started talking about it, one of the girls started crying, and she said, 2 of my girlfriends died
Oh my God.
in high school who had breast cancer, and it was inflammatory breast cancer.
Wow.
And we had a show on that because a friend of mine talks a lot about that. What is the name of her show? Something Tatas.
Oh,
But she's Jacqueline. She's phenomenal, and but inflammatory breast cancer is on the rise. She started this, and now some other people have jumped on board. So you hear a little bit more about it, but not enough. Not enough. And the symptoms with inflammatory breast cancer for girls, they just think, oh, maybe I bumped myself, maybe it's hormonal, and sometimes kids don't talk about it. They say, look, mom, look what's happening. Or maybe it's not even a mom there. It's a working mom that really don't even have the time. Sometimes we are so caught up with trying to make ends meet, and they just still don't seem to come together, that we don't take the time to say, let me just listen to my child.
Yeah, it's hard to breathe sometimes.
And see what they're saying to us. I've done that with mothers who have come to the clinic and they brought the kid and said, oh, my son or daughter, they're going to put them out of school if they don't take the Ritalin. If they don't take the psychotropic meds, they're going to send them out because they're hyperactive. And I said, I would detain that parent in the clinic just to see his behavior. And I detained this one mother. They were my last patient, thank goodness, because I detained them for 45 minutes. And I said, your son is so quiet. How is he so disrupted in class? And I said, well, tell me what happens in the classroom. He said, well, I raised my hand because I can't see the board. She didn't know he needed glasses. So he started tapping on everybody to say, what did he write? What did he say? And this and that. And so they just labeled him as being hyperactive.
Right.
Put him on medication.
attention deficit.
So I told the parent, I said, you have to go and just watch. I need you to go and just unannounced and just see what's going on. You have to see what's going on in the schools yourself, especially when they're younger children. See what's going on yourself. Because one of my children came back and told me a lot of things, and it's like, oh, that's kind of hard to believe. But I went when her father and I were together during that time, and we did go check it out and found out it was true. And it was not so nice. It was true. So you got to start checking things out yourself, and take time with your children. I'm going to give each of you a couple of minutes, maybe a minute and a half, to look into the camera, like you're looking into that person's eyes, like they're sitting in front of you. What are some of your parting words you want to share with that person? And I don't want to say audience, because like it's a whole group of people sitting there. With that person, you're connecting with that person. What would you want to tell them?
I would say occasionally you just need to stop your being, and the best thing to do for yourself is to stop your busyness and give yourself time and love. It's the best thing to do is love yourself and love others. That's why we rise by lifting others, because if you think about a flower, it doesn't compete with each other. What do they do best? They
Beautiful.
bloom when they're all together, and it's most beautiful when they all bloom together. So I think we can all help each other bloom by loving ourselves and then helping others also.
And let's give them the information too, if they have had a loss, since that is a section of your magazine. Why don't you give them that information too, so they can contact you?
Yeah, for if you write to the email info@bellav.com, and also our website is at bellavpages.com. You can write to us, and if you would like to tell a story about your child or just ask questions, or you want to talk to us about how you want to do the story, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help you out or direct you in the right way, or share something that you would like to share if that's where you're at. and we'd appreciate it. So just email us, and we can reach out to you.
Okay, very good.
I would like to share with everyone to go on the internet and read this poem. It's written by someone unknown. It's everyone, there's a reason, a season, or a lifetime, people that come into your life. And this is true, and really pay attention to how you are with each other, whether you're standing in line, no matter where you go. Start thinking of that person, if that was your parent, if someone's being mean to that person. Really think about it and put out the love. Try to keep the negative thoughts away. Really be positive and make a difference, because everybody has a heart and everybody has a story. We really need to pay attention to that, because our world needs us. There's too many things going on today in the schools. We need to protect our children. So with anybody out there, let's just keep the vibe without anyone bullying, and let's help each other, pay it forward. When I go to a market, I see somebody in front of me, I'll take care of their groceries, or I'll take care of their coffee or whatever they need. I just do it because I know it comes back tenfold, and it's something that makes me feel good, because I'm lifting someone so I can lift myself and do it in his name.
Yeah. That was beautiful. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna follow you to the supermarket and get in front of you. Okay?
Yes, go right ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. But that is wonderful. And sometimes it only takes a smile.
Yes.
It takes a smile to lighten up a person's day. Just a smile, or a good morning, or good afternoon. It's funny how we ask people, "How are you?" One time, I waited. Somebody said, "How are you?" And I said, "Horrible." And they said, "Oh, that's good." I said, people don't even listen for a response. They don't listen. They just say, "How are you?" and keep going. "How are you?" and keep going. They don't listen and say, "Well, so why ask me? Why ask someone if you're not going to take time to, take it from there? I mean, why ask?" So it's important that we really take time with people to listen to them, our children, our family members, but listen to yourself and listen to your own body, because your body would normally tell you when you need something. Because you'll walk in a store sometime and say, "You know what, my body is calling for this," or my body, probably because you're deficient in it. But it's one good way to find out is do micronutrition blood testing and see where your deficiencies lie, which is really an important blood test, instead of just buying stuff and start taking it. But take your time to love yourself. Take your time, because you can't love anyone else if you don't love yourself. So take your time to love yourself. Take your time to know that you are appreciated, even if you the only person who appreciate you. You appreciate you, and you appreciate your life. That's what's important, because a lot of times we could have no one. We could have no family. I have a lot of friends have no one and no family. But love yourself unconditionally as you are. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. And tune in next week.
We want to say thank you for having us on your show.
Okay. And I want to say I almost forgot, thank you, Jarvis, that we closed the show by me saying what I wear all the time, my little badge. And everybody repeat after me. And we know there's power. There's so much power, not that part repeating, but there's so much power in the I am. So repeat after me. I am so grateful.
So grateful
that I am a magnet.
A magnet
for miracles.
For miracles.
Make them happen. Have a blessed day.
Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.